Okay, let's connect two dots on the global map that you might not normally put together: Brazil and Bangladesh. I mean, we're talking about two countries over 15,000 kilometers apart, and yet they are building a trade relationship that is absolutely booming. So, how on earth do you build a bridge that long? Well, let's dive in.
All right, let's just start with a number. 187 million US dollars. That's the value of goods Bangladesh exported to Brazil just in the last fiscal year. And as you're about to see, this isn't just some steady, slow growth. It's actually picking up speed.
And yeah, here's that acceleration I was just talking about, a 26% jump in a single year. You know, numbers like that don't just happen randomly. It's a huge signal, right? It tells you that Brazilian buyers are getting really confident in Bangladeshi products, and the whole business case between these two countries just makes a ton of sense.
But that brings us to the real world, doesn't it? It's one thing to see a nice-looking chart. It's another thing entirely to actually do business. I mean, just imagine for a second you're a business owner in São Paulo. How in the world do you find a partner you can trust all the way over in Dhaka? Seriously, where do you even begin?
Well, this is what we call the distance dilemma. Even when the opportunity is staring you right in the face, connecting across continents is, well, it's messy, it's full of friction, and it's definitely not as easy as just shooting off an email. There are these huge, real-world roadblocks that can kill a deal dead in its tracks before it even gets started.
Okay, so let's break that friction down a bit. First up, you've got information gaps. Who can you trust, really? Is that company with a fancy website actually legit? Then there's just the process. How does business even get done over there? It can be a whole different culture, a whole different set of rules. And then, of course, the big one, the execution risk. Will I get what I paid for? Or maybe even worse, will I get paid? These are the questions that keep business owners up at night.
And when you add all of that friction up, the result is pretty simple and, frankly, pretty painful. You're talking about wasted time, months of emails that go absolutely nowhere, wasted money on travel that doesn't pan out, and of course, taking on these massive risks that could seriously hurt your business's bottom line.
So, what's the solution? How do you get past all that? Well, the answer is something called a strategic handshake. It's a structured process called business matchmaking, and its whole purpose is to take a promising idea and turn it into a real, solid, bankable contract.
Now, I want to be really clear about this. This is not your typical networking event with bad coffee and a pocket full of business cards. It is a managed pathway. Think of it like a guided tour for business. It literally walks a company from, hey, that looks like an opportunity, all the way to signing on the dotted line, with an expert helping you every step of the way.
So how does it work? Well, this whole process has 4 pretty clear steps. Step 1 is all about getting super specific. We're not talking, I want to sell cotton. We're talking the exact price, the exact volume, the exact specs. Then you qualify potential partners. You sift through all the options to find the few that are a perfect fit. After that, you structure the meetings themselves. And this is key. You have a real system to follow up and actually turn those great conversations into signed contracts.
Okay, so a guided tour needs a guide, right? You can't navigate this alone. And for this particular trade route, that guide is the Brazil-Bangladesh Commerce Chamber and Industry, or BBCCI for short. You can really think of them as the engine room, the ones making all of this happen.
And hey, don't just take my word for it. This comes right from their own mission. The key word here is facilitating. See, they don't just talk about trade, they're on the ground actively making it happen. They've built a platform where networking isn't just a shot in the dark. It's targeted, it's effective.
And if you look at what they do, their core objectives, you'll see it's a perfect match for solving those problems we talked about earlier. That information gap, they tackle it by sharing knowledge. That process uncertainty, they help build business capacity so you know how to navigate it. And that execution risk, well, by facilitating networking with partners they've already vetted, they reduce that risk dramatically.
Okay, so let's get down to brass tacks. What does this all actually mean for a business on the ground? It's all about the payoff, right? It means you can go from that first handshake to a signed deal way more efficiently. We're talking faster, cheaper, and a whole lot safer. Just look at the difference here. The old way, what does that look like? You're spending months making cold calls, taking huge risks, and hoping for the best. The matchmaking way? You jump straight into meaningful conversations with people who are already qualified, already vetted. It's really the difference between gambling and making a smart investment.
So let's just boil this all down. What are the big commercial benefits? First, you get speed, plain and simple. You also control your costs better, and you slash your risk. And here's one people don't always think about. Your negotiating power goes way up. I mean, when you're talking to several great pre-vetted options, you're not desperate. You are in the driver's seat. It all adds up to a repeatable, scalable way to grow your business.
So why does this particular trade bridge work so well? What's the secret sauce? It really comes down to one thing. These two economies are almost perfect complements to each other. Think about it. Brazil is an absolute giant when it comes to things like cotton and sugar. And what are those? They're the raw ingredients for Bangladesh's huge manufacturing industry. On the flip side, all those amazing clothes and leather goods from Bangladesh have a massive and growing market waiting for them in Brazil. It's just a perfect natural fit.
And really, this brings us to the most important point of all. Look, in a market like this, personal relationships and trust are everything. You can't get a deal done without them. But, and this is a big but, you can't build that kind of trust efficiently from halfway around the world on your own. It's just too hard. And that's why having a structured professional process isn't just a nice to have, it's the thing that actually gets you across the finish line.
So, I'll leave you with a question to chew on. It doesn't have to be Brazil and Bangladesh. It could be anywhere. But think about your own business. Could a structured, guided introduction like this be the key that unlocks your next big global opportunity?